Okay, I want to do a quick video on Edward Leedskalnins' bicycle. In a number of publications, we were told that his bike was made by Snell. In Corallo Pills, Andrew Stavro's book, he mentions Ed rode his bike, which was a Snell. No one else in the city had such a bike. There was also a pump next to the bike frame and a repair kit next to the seat. The bike that's shown here in the photo with that at his flywheel obviously does not have the bike pump on the frame. Don't know about the repair kit. I feel that what is being mentioned is it may have been one of Ed's first bikes, which may have been a Snell. Snell is very hard to find anything on. As a matter of fact, on the internet these days, it's quite impossible to find anything. I believe where it was first mentioned that Ed rode a Snell bike was in Mr. Kant is Dead by Orville Irwin. He hung out with Ed, so he would have known, unless he was trying to cover up something, which I don't see any reason why Orville would do that. I think it's possible Ed had a Snell bike. Remember the old stories of even Ed riding around on a bike just on its rims, no tires on it? There is actually older bikes out there with wooden tires and stuff, I suppose. I think those may have been rumors, but where did those rumors come from? Why would anybody even say he was riding around on a bike with just on the rims, right? Anyways, I started looking for the bike badge, which is hard to see in this photo, but I'll show you some clearer ones in a sec. The bike badge was all I could go off of, and I started looking and looking, and there was one that actually ended up matching. And what I found was a bicycle company called Rollfast. They've got the exact same badge that is on Ed's bike. Through the years, they've changed the badge a little bit here and there. I do not know exactly which one is on Ed's bike. But if we do a comparison, you look at that there, and then I found this Rollfast bike on eBay, all redone. I found a match. So then it was a matter of the paint job itself, and these arrows here match that beautifully. Down here by the forks, these 3 plates, and we got 3 plates over here. Moving over and comparing the frame, this is the same bike in eBay. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Look at this. We got the exact same bike badge. We got the exact same paint job, right down to the detailing over here. The pedals are the same. On the forks, we have the same diamond. This is the exact same paint job. There's a photo of the full bike. Ed has a rope attached onto his handle grips here going across. And Ed also has some sort of padding on the bottom part of the handlebars. This bike is on eBay right now. Depending where you are, you're going to be paying around $4 grand for it. It's gorgeous, and it's the same as Ed's, I'm telling you. I don't think it was Ed's bike. Like, this isn't Ed's personal bike that he rode around on, but you never know, right? I have not been able to find any other model like this. But this matches Ed's bike perfect. You'll notice there's no pump, there's no repair kit. I'm wondering if Ed bought this bike after his first bike. Once Ed started making some money, perhaps he bought this bike. I do not know the year of this bike. All they say here is 1940s. And you'll notice that Ed's does not have the cool tail light with the face on it. Ed's got the exact same seat. Ed also did not have the speedometer on it. He probably took that off for whatever reason. I don't see any tail light down there on Ed's bike, and I also don't see any speedometer on Ed's bike, so we took both those off. I assume that Ed was using this handle part as some sort of a basket. He'd tie his supplies on that he got from town onto the handlebars and head out, because he didn't want a basket on there, maybe. If you go to nostalgic.net, you can find a bunch of old bikes there. And none of these are quite the same as Ed's bike, so I haven't nailed down the year for it. Could be anywhere from 1936 to 1946 that Ed's bike was. But I do believe this is an absolute match. Look at that. Awesome. Right down to the handle grips. They're all the exact same. Through many searches I've done, you end up with this. The internet is terrible these days, so I was very lucky that this got posted on eBay. Now we know it is an absolute Rollfast, and it was a gorgeous bike. We don't know if Ed's bike was red like this one, or if he had a black one. I think they came in 3 different colors. And for the photo that we've got, it's very hard to tell if Ed had a red one or what color he had. See, this one here is different because it's got the bar across. Ed's does not have the bar across, does not have the bars down here. You can search through a lot of different Rollfasts. This is a 1936 Rollfast. You can find a lot of stuff here. Dave's Vintage Bicycles. That's where a lot of this stuff is posted, in nostalgia.net. Now, one thing that I fear most is either Ed's bike is sitting somewhere looking like this, or it's been turned into a coffee table like this. I wonder if Harry Leedskalnin took Ed's bike when he inherited the place, because Ed's bike was still there after Ed passed away. A lot of other stuff did get stolen, but Ed's bike was still there. Somebody took Ed's bike sometime after that period. When Harry took over, a lot of the sheds and things were demolished, a lot of stuff taken to the dump. Was it Harry when he took over, or Levin? A lot of stuff got trashed after, but we know darn well that Ed's bike would not have been trashed. And right now, it's worth, at least $3,000. This is all restored, beautiful. It's the exact same bike frame, everything. You can see where Ed had his chain around to lock it up to the flywheel. Which is another question. Why did Ed have to lock up his bike to the flywheel apparatus when he's got locks on his doors in the tool room? Many have thought it was part of the apparatus, and I suppose it could have added more metal to the whole unit, more mass, but Ed had that chained up. Even if you look at the photo with Ed and the old timers, when they're standing around the flywheel, his bike is still there in the same position. It's where Ed stored his bike. Ed stored his bike here, and he chained it up there. Now, I thought, alright, well, if Ed goes to town or something, people could still get into Rock Gate. They could still get into Rock Gate and wander around. But Ed would not go to town without his bike. So I'm not sure why he needed to chain it up. So my theory is Ed probably he bought an old beater bike, maybe an old Snell when he first got into Florida, and he started riding around on that, and eventually when he started making some money is when he bought this bike. This bike, if you look at some of the paint and the grease around here, you can see Ed has rode it for a number of years. He's got a chain wrapped around it like that. He's not too worried about the paint job at this point. Look at how gorgeous the bike was when it was brand new. I don't think you'd be wrapping a chain around it like that if you hadn't owned it for a few years at least, right? Gorgeous bike. Another thing is, when that bike disappeared, remember when Ed hid $3,500 in his radio stand? It makes me wonder what kind of money Ed could have hid in this bike, in the tubing of the frame. If I was Ed, I would have. And Ed had money stashed all over the place. But we do not know what year the bicycle disappeared. But now we do know the bicycle in the picture, in the photo, with that at his flywheel, is a Rollfast. Now, if anybody can find out the year of this bike, that would be awesome. Because I can't. All they say is 1940s here. So if anybody can find out the year, maybe a catalog for this bike, that would be awesome. All we know right now, 26-inch tires, skip tooth, absolutely, that's Ed's bike. And that's the only one that I've seen. This paint job, whatever year this one was, right now it's on eBay. If it was never on eBay, I would have never found this. And we would have never possibly known, because every day the internet's losing more and more pages, it seems. It was amazing to find this one. The person selling the bike could probably even up the value more just by saying, hey, this is the exact same bike as Edward Leedskalnins used to ride in Florida. Awesome. There's some bikes. This is a 1932. They're wondering if it's a 1932, but it's another Rollfast. The paint job is very deteriorated, hard to tell. This was found under a barn in Gardner, Massachusetts. It's estimated by the property owner to be put down there during the 1940s. Very cool. And that other one, I just feel Ed's bike has to be out there somewhere still. I don't know what condition it's in, if it's in that condition, in this condition, or restored beautifully like this one. But as far as I can tell, That is Ed's bike. If you go to eBay, you will find it. Beautiful. Thank you for all your time, and I hope everybody has a great day. Another interesting thing in Andrew Stavros' book is that Ed never accepted an invitation to lunch, and he always refused to get in the car when someone wanted to drive him. Ed wanted control over his destiny. He wanted to eat what he knew he was eating, and he wanted to walk or drive where he was going. He didn't want to put his life into anybody else's hands.